How's it going, Twitch? My name is Skull, and on behalf of East Asia Soft, welcome to today's stream. Today, I am continuing my playthrough of Crime Opera 2: The Floodgate Effect, out now on consoles as well as Crime Opera 1 on Switch and Xbox. This is a fun visual novel. I don't know what to call it. It's not exactly a mystery game. It's a, I'm gonna call it a thriller. And yeah, we ended off our last stream on having to make a choice, a decision on whether to follow Kevin or stay behind and protect Xander. Kevin is leaving, and I don't know if we want to... Oh, man. If you're just joining in without any knowledge of what's come before, you're probably very confused right now, huh? Xander is this guy up here. He is a big baddie. I forget what the current character's name is, the one in the middle. He has been charged with protecting Xander, and Xander just ordered him to follow Kevin. And if anything feels off, to shoot Kevin. I am no closer to making my decision than when I left off on the last stream, so, I'm thinking I want to follow Kevin. I'm going to do that. And save here so I remember which decision I made. Okay. Follow his orders. The confusion hits me again. If Kevin tries to run, it means that he's a bad person. It might make sense to my dad, but to me it's still weird. I don't have time to think about it, though. I'm already walking behind him. My hand is on my sidearm, and I'm ready to do what I've been told. I'm going to shoot Kevin. I'm going to kill him if he tries to run. A few feet ahead of me, Kevin stops dead at the entrance to the hall. He pulls his gun, and I reach to pull mine. No! No, no, no! This is all wrong! I look down to see what he's panicking over. There are dead bodies all over the place. 3, 4, 5, 6 of them! Their blood has leaked all over the smooth surface of the floor, creating a pool of gore. It's a literal bloodbath. I could see the bullet holes riddled through their bodies. There was a massive slaughtering here not long ago. Hi, Andrea. I'm so drawn in by this marvelous work of art that I didn't even notice when Kevin somehow made his way behind me. It's a setup! We have to get out of here! The first gunshot echoes loudly throughout the compound. In that instant, I can hear the other men panic. Kevin jumps back in the hall with me, and we hide ourselves on opposite ends behind the safety of the walls. I can hear Dean and my dad barking out orders to our guys. Fall back! There's too many of them! Without thinking, I stick my head out from behind the wall to see what is happening. From the far end of the complex, I can see about 15 men in plain view, guns held out in front of them, shooting at our men. Analyzing the scene further, I can see there are even more of them hiding behind the pillars. We're vastly outnumbered. How many? I don't know. Too many. God damn it! We have to go! I don't know why I gave him that voice. He takes off down the hallway, abandoning the route we took to get here. Abandoning the men. I aim my gun at him, readying myself to pull the trigger. From this distance, it's an easy kill. Every fiber of my body begs me to do it. I like it. I like the thrill of the hunt. I like the moment before it all happens. I love unsuspecting victims. But I'm still confused. Dad's not here to give me the final order. I don't know if the situation has changed or not. It seems like it wasn't going according to Kevin's plan. Like maybe my dad had been wrong. In any other situation, this would be a perfect kill. There's nothing more thrilling than taking a life. Nothing. Especially a human. I've only been able to kill a person once before. There's nothing I want more in the world than to stab a knife into someone's chest and tear from one end to the other, feasting my eyes on the contents that lay behind their skin. Hi, Dim Lord, what did you miss? Where do I start? Bloodbath. But killing Kevin might be wrong. And it would just confuse me. In the time it's taken me to think it through, Kevin has disappeared into the winding corridors ahead. And now I'm left to fend for myself. I peek my head out from the wall again. Who died? No one's died yet. Just some random goons. Kevin's men, I suppose. The enemy is advancing little by little, using the pillars as cover. Our guys were pretty out in the open to begin with. I see 4 of our men lying dead on the floor. No names, red shirts, don't worry about them. Dean is one of them. Never mind. A bullet narrowly misses my head, hitting the wall beside me. I have no time to think. I need to run. There's no choice but to follow the path Kevin took. I can't go back the other way now. I'll be killed right away. As quickly as I can, I get up from my cover spot and start running down the hall, settling on one of the corridors as I approach its opening. I stumble upon a few more dead bodies as I wind my way through. A part of me wants nothing more than to stop and look at them, examining every bullet wound I can find. Their blood sticks to my shoes, making it hard not to slide on the slippery floors. I have to slow my speed to prevent myself from doing that, pushing the adrenaline to an all-time high. Whose perspective is this? What's his name? The really dark, moody kid. The one who killed the uncle 10 years prior. Black shirt, dark hair, man, a few words. I forget his name. It almost feels like those dreams where you're chasing your prey but you can't seem to get anywhere. The endless corridors continue, and I keep winding my way through. When I finally get towards the end of my current hall, I can see one last entryway to move through. I hope for the best as I begin to turn into it. I end up facing the barrel of a gun aimed right between my eyes. I'm stopped in my tracks completely. My instincts have already resigned. This is the end. Any second now, I'll hear a loud bang, and my mind will go blank for the rest of eternity. Death isn't so wondrous when you're the one meeting their end. For the first time, I'm faced with that realization. Drop your weapon! But rather than killing me, the enemy starts talking instead. He commands. I don't like taking commands from strangers. I'd rather take my chances and shoot him in the head instead. I'd shoot him as many times as I could in the face, pummeling it into an unrecognizable pile of slop. He holds the gun out further in front of him, warning me not to do what I'm thinking. My eyes must have given it away. I throw away my gun. It makes a heavy clank as it bounces on the floor. Wrong gallow. Looks like Kevin found his way out of here. I wasn't expecting that. These corridors can be pretty tricky to find a way around. It took me a good hour to figure my way through them yesterday, but finally I decided on waiting here. This idiot keeps talking. I'm barely even paying attention to the words. I'm watching him, waiting for an opening. All I need is a split-second chance to knock the gun out of my face and tackle him to the ground. So far, he's being careful, though. And here I thought I'd had a surefire plan. Ah, well, with any luck, your old man's been whacked. If that's the case, there isn't much need to kill the rest of you. Then again, it would probably be wise to take precautions. He tightens his grip on the gun. I look him dead in the eyes. If he's going to kill me, he'd better hurry the hell up and do it. I won't miss my chance. You're like a wild and savage beast, aren't you? Like a lion lying in wait. Trust me, kid, whatever you're thinking, it won't end well for you. I don't care. If that's how it has to be, then there's nothing that can be done about it. I won't go down without a fight, though. If he slips up, even for a second, just one clear second, I won't hesitate. Not going to say anything? Fine. Stubbornness must run rampant in your family's blood. Hold your arms out wide to either side. This guy's not taking any chances with me. That's good. It's bad for me, but he knows what's good for him. If he didn't know, he'd be shit out of luck. By making me do something like this, he's taking away my surprise attack. Every split second counts, so he's taking a couple away from me. Essentially, I've become his prey. He's showing me that he has me right where he needs me, and that taking him down won't be easy. That's okay with me. The harder it is, the more interesting the outcome will be. I'm going to take a chance, it's inevitable, but not quite yet. Now would be the most obvious moment to try something, and he's at his most alert during these few seconds. I really have no choice but to comply. Slowly, I begin to move my arms up from my sides, extending them outwards like a scarecrow. It takes everything I have to keep from smiling. When I'm done with you, I'll have ripped the flesh from that face of yours with my fucking teeth. Keep staring, asshole. Because the moment you look away, it'll be your very last one in this lifetime. Quit looking at me like that. You're really starting to give me the creeps. Good. Feel the chill crawl up your spine. Do you feel it? That's your instincts warning you that you are about to have the tables turned and you are going to become the prey. You better act fast. I'm going to get you. It's going to happen very soon. I crack, and a smile finally forms across my lips. He can't even move now. It's done. The tables have turned. Now is the time. I'm going to attack you now. Have it your way, kid. Just as I'm about to launch from my position, a small sound bursts from his gun. I hadn't noticed the silencer attached to it before. The pain is gradual, but my mind recognizes what has happened before it spreads. He beat me. He shot me before I could make my move, and I was so close. And that's when the pain sinks in. Oh. Ah! Oh, his name is Birdie. Birdie. It was your choice. Remember that. I fall to my knees, holding my arms tightly across my stomach, one firmly over the other. It hurts. It really hurts. The pain hurts too much to go on with my attack plan, but it's too funny not to laugh. He didn't finish his prey. He's a weakling. It's kind of a graphic image. I have been shot straight through my left hand. I'm crippled. An easy finish. But he won't kill me, and that makes him weak. I've won simply by default. What a pathetic person. I'm glad you find it funny. I'll let you keep your other one. With any luck, I'll have good use for it one day. But for now, I need to be on my way. The searing pain blocks his words from my mind. I hear him, but they don't have any meaning anymore. I breathe loudly through my excruciating grin. It's just so funny! I can barely gasp for air! I fall to the ground, laying on my side, holding my injured hand close to my body and protecting it under my right arm. I can hear footsteps as the funny man walks around me. I don't know if he says anything else or not, as the pain gets worse and worse, and the situation gets funnier and funnier. That laugh doesn't really fit this guy. I can't even think straight anymore. I'm overwhelmed with the attack of so many of my senses at once. My laughs come out in gasps now. I just can't seem to get enough air. I don't think the man is there anymore, but I don't really care anymore. He's done what he has meant to do. He tried to instill fear in me, and he came out looking like a clown in the end. The funniest, most pathetic clown in the universe. I'm going to have a lot of fun with him someday. I'm going to do things that I've only dreamed of to him. I'm going to tie him up and tear his skin apart, and I'm going to make sure he feels it in every possible way. I'm going to use a tiny pin and prick my way over every part of his skin until he doesn't have any left. And his screams will push me on and on and on. And using that same pin, I'll tear back in behind his eyes and pull him out. I'll make him watch as I stab the first one into a pile of unrecognizable mush. This guy's messed up, yo. Guys, I think that Birdie has issues. I'll laugh and he'll cry, he'll scream, and I'll torture. Yes, he has made me so happy. He has given me the greatest gift I have ever known. He has become my prey, my worthy prey. Finally, something worth chasing after. He has signed away his blood to me, and to me alone. My laughing has turned into a shallow moaning. Oh boy. Take a breath. Whew. I'm trying so hard to calm down from my fits of laughter, but it's so hard. I roll onto my back, indulging in the moment. Loving it. I want so badly not to take it for granted, but it can't be helped. Well, seems the birdie can't really go anywhere anyway, so... I don't know how long I'm lying there holding my wounded hand in pain. It feels so hilarious to be in the opposite position from the usual. You know what? Izzy's right. Birdie's a creep. Izzy was right this whole time. I was wrong to have doubted her. I'm like all those animals I tore apart when I was a kid. When I hurt them badly enough, they can't do anything to fight back. So they lay there, waiting for their end. But I prolong it as much as possible, trying to inflict as much pain in as many areas as possible. There's no one to do that to me right now. Isn't that funny? I think so. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. And that's the reason. That's exactly why I've been made to feel invincible. The laughter finally dies away completely, and the smile wears from my face. I'm laying in a small pool of my blood. The sanctity of the moment has passed. And I could hear a familiar voice. One of the men we came here with. He's calling my name, but he isn't interested. He isn't interesting to me right now. I just experienced something great. Why won't he let me bask in the afterglow of that time? Yeah. Gotta get bandaged up, bleed out, yada yada. Just shut up. Don't worry, Xander's okay. Shut up. I'm bored with you. I'll get bandaged up when I'm good and ready. I don't feel like leaving right now. The ground is cool and it feels nice on my sweaty skin. It's cooling my small puddle of blood, too. I could feel it against my right hand, which is now covering my left. Just leave me alone. This is nice. And at chapter 6, there are no tips for this chapter. Good. I don't want to see anything more from that. Ugh. Izzy was right about him. She was right about him the whole time. Ron and Anya. Let's go. Did I miss something? Nope. He's a machinist. I think you mean masochist. I feel something soft brush up against my hand, and before I can process what's happening, it wraps itself completely around it. My mind reels for a few seconds as I slowly come to the realization that I'm holding hands with the girl I like, walking through the park where everyone can see. It's been a week since Anya and I met. We continued meeting for drinks every night until our exams were finished. I kept telling myself this dream girl would disappear as soon as exams were over and done with, but here we are, on our first date. Oh, all those times in the bar didn't count? Trying to remember the voices I gave them. It's just so hard to believe how everything seems to be working itself out. I've never had a girlfriend before, and yet it feels like this is definitely headed in that direction. Excuse me. This is our first chapter where we repeat a POV. I can't believe how relaxed I've been since we got here. I was so nervous before meeting her today. But as soon as we started talking, just like every other time we're together, I suddenly just mellowed out and went with the flow. She has that weird effect on me. She's just very fun to talk to, and I can't seem to run out of things to talk to her about. That's never happened before. I was starting to think maybe it never would. I was always terrible with girls in high school, so I kind of figured that would carry over into post-secondary schooling as well. Wait, did I just really assume I was destined to be alone forever? No, I'm sure I assumed it would work itself out eventually. Just not so suddenly. Shit. You need to focus, Ron. Look around. You're the envy of every guy who walks by. You've never had that feeling before. All these guys wish that they were with this beautiful girl on this gorgeous spring day, and all you can think about is how nervous you think you should be. Jesus, man, lighten up. It's time to look towards the future. I told myself things would finally get better once I moved out of my own and started a life myself. This is the first step towards realizing that dream. She's that dream. I feel her squeezing my hand lightly. I'm not sure what it means, but my body automatically squeezes back in reciprocation. It feels right. And I need things to feel right this week more than ever. Just a few days ago, I got news that Dean had been killed, shot to death in a gang-related fight, as the newspapers reported. I shouldn't have been surprised. I know my family has had its share of involvement with a whole shit ton of illegal matters in the past. I'm not so naive as to believe that it all stopped when my Uncle Gerald was killed. However, I still wanted to believe that it had eventually kind of fizzled out, that my father had been forced to pull out of his criminal activities. I mean, the asshole barely even leaves his house. It's not completely impossible to believe it could have happened. But with Dean's death, there's no denying that it was nothing but my own false hopes. Dean has always been like an uncle to me, to all of us, my cousins included. He's been in a shitty mood these last few years, but I see so little of him that I still come to think of him as being the same guy he was when I was a kid. Now he's really gone for good. There's no hope of ever seeing that happy-go-lucky, energetic guy he used to be ever again. And the thing is, I'm kinda glad about it. He deserved what he got. He probably deserved worse. I wouldn't have felt that way before that night I found out about it. But the way I found out, it was just... I had just gotten back from another late-night run-in with Anya at the grad bar. I was a little dizzy from the alcohol. We polished off a few pitchers in a short time span. The girl can definitely hold her liquor. I was exhausted and decided I would get ready and head straight to bed. And then came a knock at the door. It was Birdie. There were two men standing conspicuously behind him, almost acting as though they were guarding him. I didn't recognize either of them. He looked pale as a sheet, like he was going to be sick. What happened? Something was definitely really wrong. I knew that right away. Absolutely nothing about the situation made any sense. Why was he here? He never comes here. Why was he with these guys? He's a total loner and never goes anywhere with anyone if it can be helped. Why at this time? It's fucking late. And why does he look like he's about to pass out? A small sigh came from him as he lifted his left hand in front of me. It was wrapped in white cloth, soaked in blood. Begone, butt! I guess EAS is really popular these days. It feels like we get a bot every single stream. Oh, this one will be gone soon, you reported him. Excellent. My eyes immediately began searching his body, scanning for more wounds. The blood from the cloth had oozed into his clothes, so I have no way of knowing if he'd had more. Get in here! I pulled him in and sat him down on the couch, not realizing how stupid I'd feel later that night when I noticed the red bloodstains on the white material. Who has a white couch? Honestly. I didn't have a first aid kit or anything, so I ran to the closet and grabbed some fresh cloths. When I came back, the two guys that came with him were inside my apartment, waiting patiently at the now closed front door. Tell me what happened. I got shot. I could clearly see that now. A bullet had passed straight through his hand. By who? I'm pretty sure it's whom. I don't know. Some guy. You mean like a mugging? I finished replacing the cloth bandages. He has a creepy smile. Look at that. Oh, I did not like that. He didn't say anything. I knew then that it was something else. He was doing something he shouldn't have been. One of the men at the door spoke up. Found him on the ground laughing. He was hysterical from the pain. Who the hell are you? We work for your father. That explained everything right there. Everything I wished wasn't possible. My father had maintained his connections to the criminal underworld after all this time, and was still active in his syndicate. And now he'd gotten Birdie caught in the crosshairs of his maniacal schemes. How long had this been going on? How long had he been using my little brother for his criminal activities? Birdie has mental problems. Everyone who knows him understands that. He can be very dangerous if put in certain circumstances. And here he had been used in the absolute worst kind of situation. He could have been killed. He could have killed someone else. In fact, it's entirely possible that he did. I couldn't think about it then. He needed medical attention. We need to get to the hospital, Bertie. This is too bad for me to deal with.
We can't. They killed Dean. It'd be too suspicious if I showed up there.
Dean? Dad? That stupid son of a bitch. He got Bertie involved in this. It was his fault, too. I couldn't sort out my feelings right then. I hated the fucker and was glad he was dead. But I was also shocked to hear of his demise. Maybe even a little sad. I don't know. It was all too much to register at one time. Shit.
You told us to bring him here. We tried to get him to...
Shut up. Let me think. I cut the man off. I was angry beyond belief. And scared. Bertie looked to have lost a lot of blood. He needed professional medical attention, not me. The answer I was looking for was fairly obvious, and I thanked the heavens that through the slight intoxication and the shock I'd just been dealt, I was able to think of it so quickly. Rachel! We need to go see Rachel.
Rachel! Why did you say that name?
I'm sorry. Kevin's fiance is a nurse. She could help us. I guess we'll see how that goes. We needed to take Bertie to their house right now. I mean, this is kind of complicated. Kevin and Bertie, I think it's pretty obvious they're going to be against each other. Kevin will think that Bertie was part of a setup, and Bertie will think that Kevin was part of a setup or something. They're not going to trust each other. Rachel is probably going to side with Kevin every time, but doctors and nurses take the Hippocratic Oath that they will treat people who need treated regardless of personal feelings and stuff like that. So even if Kevin hates Bertie, Rachel, if she takes her oath seriously, would treat Bertie nonetheless. It's not a doctor's position to judge whether a person should be healed or not. It is their job to heal them to the best they can, no matter what. There's one exception to that oath. Well, this isn't that exception, though. Kevin's girlfriend is a nurse. We need to get to their house.
No one's heard from Kevin since it all happened. If she finds out that he may be hurt or dead...
The exception is for your own safety. True, but this still might not qualify for that. Kevin was a part of this? My mind reeled. Just how many members of my family have been pulled into this shit? And who was responsible for it all? Guess who? Jesus Christ! Just thinking of it now. I squeeze Anya's hand again, lost in the moment of my memory, but still unable to return to the present.
It was his deal.
Kevin's? He was the one behind all this? It couldn't be. There's no way he'd want anything to do with this shit after his father... It was too much. It was all just too much for my spinning head. Shit.
I think Kevin got away, but they might have found him after. I think the guy who shot me wants him killed.
How'd you get away?
He let me live. It was an act of mercy he'll soon regret.
I saw something in his eyes right then that I couldn't ignore. It wasn't the kind of anger a normal person would show in a spark of vengeance. This was different. This was mere frustration on Bertie's part. He was more determined than mad. It was terrifying. Shit. We'll talk about this later. Right now, we need to get you to Rachel. I don't care about Kevin right now. We just need to go. That was the decision I'd made. I know. I should have taken him to the hospital instead, or whatever happened with the cop afterward would probably have been rightly deserved. But this was Bertie, my little brother. He had saved my life when we were younger. And he came here seeking my help. He's not like other people. He doesn't understand right from wrong the way others do. This isn't entirely his fault. At least, that's what I believe. Bertie was used. And I think to an extent he was, but also, golly, that kid needs therapy. Maybe a CAT scan.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Look, I don't even know who you are. For all I know, this is your goddamn fault. We're going to Kevin's place. So that's where we went. And that's how I heard the news about Dean. Having reached the end of that scene from my memory, I was finally able to shake my thoughts. Think he's beyond therapy? Maybe. Needs an asylum. You're having a good day, Ron. Ignore that shit. It has no place here. Hey, are you alright? You haven't said anything for a while. Shit. Have we been wandering around in silence this whole time? Or has she been talking? I hope she wasn't talking. That would be very rude of me to have been ignoring her. And what if she was saying something really important about herself? Like something I'll need to remember in the future. Damn it, I'm an idiot. Sorry, it's been a stressful week. I know! At least exams are over now, though. Right. I'd put this completely out of my mind already. Listen, I haven't been completely honest with you about something, and I need to get it off my chest. Oh? My heart leaps directly into my throat. I have absolutely no clue what this could be about. Is she going to bring up some crazy ex-boyfriend who's been vying to win back her affection? Maybe she's moving back home for the rest of the summer. Oh shit, I never even thought about that. Or maybe she just doesn't like me enough to keep seeing me. Damn it. Maybe I blew it. Yeah, it's about your family. I know more about your past than I've been letting on. We slow down our walking to an eventual stop. I don't even notice until I'm standing there like an idiot, not doing or saying anything. There was an article in the paper a few days back about Dean Gallo. I recognized the name and wondered if they had any familial connections to you, so I started digging up some older articles in the library. Christ, she knows. She knows everything! About my mom, my uncle, my brother, even the latest fiasco. She's researched it all. And what goes beyond all that is the fact that she did all of it behind my back without even thinking to just ask me. I feel embarrassed, but betrayed as well. My whole despicable past has been laid bare, and I have been exposed. But what's even worse, not a goddamned part of it was any of my fault. None of it, ever. And yet I'm the one being set up to be judged by others, and now by her. You could have just asked. I know, and I'm so sorry. I honestly didn't even think about what I was doing until it was over. I completely understand if you hate me. She looks sincere, and I don't see the kind of judgment in her eyes that I had expected to. That's new. Most people have that when they first find out about my past. Bot is banned. Excellent. There is yet justice in the world. I don't hate you. I just wish you'd been upfront about it. I suppose it isn't her fault when she saw the article. Anyone would be curious after all. Still, it wasn't right what she did. I'm glad she knows that. I know. I'm really sorry. That did it. I could see small tears bubbling in the corners of her eyes, and I could swear I just heard her voice start to shake. There's nothing more overpowering to a man than a crying girl. Can confirm, I'm beat. It's fine. I'm sure you would have found out eventually. Everyone always does. And I suppose if I want us to be honest with each other, I would have had to tell you anyway. Thanks. She wipes at her tears before the waterworks have a chance to really get going. I should have expected the next assault. You know, if you ever need to talk about anything... Thanks. I'm fine, though. She wants my take on things. She wants to know more about it. She wants to know all the nitty-gritty details. How could she not? Is there any other family situation more fucked up than mine? Doubtful. It's not even fair of me to look down on her for it. I want her to try and get to know me, don't I? Isn't dealing with all of this bad shit just a part of that? I mean, I'd prefer we focused on happier things. I'm sure we could, ideally. But then there's really no escaping the past. Case in point, the incident from the other night. Wasn't I just reliving the whole thing just a few moments ago? Ignoring the present to the point where she felt I was ignoring her? Heh. Pathetic. But that doesn't mean I feel like talking about it. Not with her and not with anyone. The last thing I need is to allow myself to be dragged any further into that shit than I already have been. I've worked hard to try and leave it behind me, so it would be stupid to give up now. Sorry. She doesn't need to hear about it. Not now. Maybe not ever. Maybe it was a good thing she found out on her own. It's out there, it exists, and now we can move on from it. I don't have to worry about bringing it up on my own, so I don't have to feel like I'm keeping the big secret from her. And the details don't need to be explained anyway. Whether I go into a lot of detail or just a little, at least she hasn't been lied to. I'm not leaving anything critical out anyway, am I? Hell, I don't even know what the articles she read. Maybe she knows everything? Fuck it, I don't even want to know how much she knows. We'll leave it at that. I know what I know. She knows what she knows. It's over. Whatever's been in my throat for the last half a year, can it just go away? That sucks. We grabbed a quick bite to eat after that, then wound our way through the school toward the place where we first met. Neither of us felt like drinking, so she suggested we hang out at my place for a bit since it was so close. It was a good thing I cleaned a bit before I left earlier. There would have been no ignoring the bloodstains smeared on the floors if I hadn't. And considering our conversation at the park, I'd have had no choice but to offer an explanation. Want to watch some TV? Sure. It's got bad reception, though. Sorry. She walks over to the barely functioning device and flicks it on. I could tell by the look on her face that the picture quality is even worse than she was expecting. Shit. Grabbing the remote from the top of my dresser. That's his favorite word, isn't it? Grabbing the remote from the top of my dresser, I hand it over to her as we sit down next to each other on my fold-out couch. What do you want to watch? Lady's choice. I only got 6 channels, though. And barely at that. Just as I'm starting to feel embarrassed about it, she snuggles up next to me and puts her head on my shoulder. This is new. Well, what do you usually watch? I don't know. The talk show should be on in the next hour or so. She snuggles closer in response. I guess we're stuck watching this boring program until then. Oh well, I'm more than comfortable. We lay there for a while longer. I've grown too bored with the current show to pay much attention to it. It is his favorite word. Hi, Asbester, again. At first, my thoughts drifted to what Anya might be thinking. Am I supposed to make a move or something? No, it's still too soon. And she seems pretty comfortable herself. Or maybe I'm just finding reasons to wuss out. I don't have a clue what I'm doing. Hell, she might even be a little pissed about earlier. I kind of feel like I rejected her by not wanting to confide in her when she offered. My thoughts on the matter are still unwavering, but I can understand if it upsets her. And then, somehow, drifting from one thought to another, I ended up back where I started. The memories I want to forget. There's no escaping them. How did this happen? I'm not sure. Rachel led Birdie and I across the hallway. I am curious, Asbester, if I had picked the other choice, because I picked Birdie follows Kevin instead of staying behind to protect Xander. If I had picked he stays behind to protect Xander, would the story have basically played out about the same, with like maybe a little bit of that scene diverting a little? Or is that a dead end and I picked the right one? Like, I'm curious, and maybe your answer will simply be, why don't you play it and find out, but I figured I may as well ask. Rachel led Birdie and I across the hallway. We left the men I didn't know outside in their car. No leads to one of the false endings. You chose wisely. Let's go! I am the king. Continue to be. I'm sure she noticed the beams from the car were on when we show... Okay. I get it. I'm sure she noticed the beams from the car were on when we showed up at her door, though, so she knew it wasn't just us there. She signaled for us to stop by the stairwell and turned on a bunch of lights. Although, if it's an ending where Birdie meets his demise, I'm kind of wondering if that would be considered a bad ending, because I said this before. Guys, I think Izzy was right to call Birdie creepy and not to trust him. Like, I thought that she was just being a bratty teenager, but I actually think she might be right. No, Xander's okay. They confirmed it. Dean is dead, which is sad because I liked Dean. Xander's alive. Wait here while I grab my kit. She ran up the stairs, and Birdie sat down against the wall. There was a lot of light there, so that's probably why she wanted us to stay where we were. I kneeled down next to my brother and waited for her return. I feel sick. With this really creepy smile. He had lost a lot of blood. It was a miracle he had made it that far without passing out. The cloth over his hand needed to be swapped for a new one. Despite the situation, I was confident that Rachel could fix him up. We need to disinfect the wound. She pulled out a needle then and filled it with liquid. Ah, needles! What's that? Tetanus shot. Believe it or not, a bullet can be riddled with bacteria. I'd rather just die. Nope. Been shot with a bullet? That's perfectly fine, but needles? No, thank you. Ugh. That sounded just a little too sarcastic in tone, but I let it slide, considering the situation we put her in. She gave him the shot, and then started unwrapping his hand. He likes the pain, so it's fine. Yeah, but I don't, and I'm reading this thing. I couldn't help but ask what was on my mind. Is he going to be alright? He'll live. The major arteries are higher near the wrist, and the wound has clotted well enough on its own. Ugh. Rachel twisted his hand to inspect it as she poured disinfectant over it. I could tell she had seen things like this before in her line of work. It was amazing how calm she was able to stay. As for the hand itself, you won't be able to tell for a while. He could have partially or even complete loss of it. That wasn't what Birdie wanted to hear. Immediately, he leaned over and started to throw up. Even so, I'd say he should count himself lucky. Yeah. I had to agree. He could have been killed instead. I watched as she finished her medical procedures. She rewrapped the wound with proper bandages when she was all done. Given that she was working alone and outside the hospital, I was sure there was nothing else she could do for him now. Birdie, I need you to tell me honestly. Was Kevin with you tonight?
Yeah, he got away.
She asked him again if he was sure, and he nodded in response. I don't think he was quite so certain, to be honest. Otherwise, wouldn't Kevin have been with her? I mean, where the hell was he? This music is kind of creepy, too. That really soft piano in a minor key? Ugh. Even so, I could tell Rachel believed him. Her face seemed to regain a bit of color in that moment. That's what she needed to hear. I had to wonder if Birdie knew that. Probably not, but after all, he was definitely convinced he'd seen him get away. That was all, though. No follow-up questions or anything. She just wanted to know if he'd been there. And that told me quite a lot. It told me that she knew Kevin had dealings with some dangerous people, and that he and Birdie were working together with my father. She knew all of that, and yet she had decided to stay by his side. A nurse, a good person, who wanted to be with a man involved in who knows what kinds of criminal activity. Kaden. I was seeing her in a whole new light right then, and not a particularly good one. However, she had just saved my brother, and I owed her for that, so I shook the thought from my mind. Until now, that is. I felt Anya stir. Had she fallen asleep? The talk show was on now, and I wondered if she had fallen asleep before or after the show came on. I wrapped my arm around her lightly and immediately regretted it when her eyes blinked open. Sorry, didn't mean to wake you. I don't want to sleep anyway. Then she rolled herself on top of me and flicked the TV off with the remote. She was kissing me, seemingly out of the blue. Maybe having my arm wrapped around her was all she needed to realize I wanted her. I think, ladies and gentlemen, we have found the origin of Netflix and Chill. The name of the TV show is Netflix, you see, I'm sure. That, yes? No? Or maybe she'd just rather do anything else than watch late night TV. I don't care. I don't even think about where this is leading. I just enjoy it. Even when she throws off her shirt and grinds seductively against my body, I don't think about it. I'm just glad to be here with her. And maybe that's how Rachel feels with Kevin. Maybe Anya and I aren't the most obvious match, but it works. It makes me feel right. It makes me feel alive. Rolling her onto her back, I realize that I need her to take my mind off of everything. She can do that for me. And that's what she's doing right now. All of the pain and hatred and the worry, she's going to help me leave it all behind. And I'm going to let her. Yep, let's check out those tips. Just the tip. Kevin, is that you?
Shh!
What is it?
Has anyone been here tonight?
No, why?
Have you heard any weird noises tonight? Anything out of the ordinary?
No. Kevin, what's going on? You're scaring me.
I'm sorry, babe, but I don't have time to explain. I need to disappear for a while, and I need you to stay and pretend like I was never here.
Where? And for how long? Kevin, what happened?
If anyone comes here, I don't care who it is, Birdie, Xander, anyone, even Izzy, you need to act like you never saw me tonight. Understood?
Yes, but...
I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I need to go now. But know that I love you more than anything, and I will come back to you when this is all over.
Kevin, wait! Kevin! Kevin and the bastard. Wow.
Where the fuck have you been? I've been calling you for days now.
I don't know why I gave him this voice, but I'm sticking with it because it's too funny. I'm sticking with this voice. I'm committed. I guarantee, Asbester, this is not the voice you gave him in your head. I know, Kev. I'm sorry. Blaine is one of the few guys working for Xander that I can stand. He's not there by choice either, but by circumstance. After that shitstorm that happened last week, I bailed on everyone. I had to. That deal was mine, and now it only makes sense that Xander thinks I set him up. And yeah, that was the plan, but it didn't go at all how I'd hoped. When I got there, the guys I was dealing with were all dead. Our setup had been a setup. I still don't have a fucking clue how either, or even who was behind it. Who the hell could have masterminded this whole thing? And for what purpose?
Tell me what happened!
I look around to make sure no one is watching me. I've been completely on edge since it all happened. No one is near the payphone I'm using, but with so many people passing through, that could change at any moment. I have to be cautious and not say anything too detailed.
No one knows, man. I'm sure you've guessed already. Everyone thinks it was you trying to get the jump on Xander.
If I thought otherwise, I wouldn't be staying away.
I chose my words carefully. I know Blaine's not going to try and fuck me over by asking me to surrender. We both know how that would play out. Even so, I also know he isn't in a position to help me. Not really, anyway.
I know. Listen, man, I want to help, but you've got to give me something to work with here. Just what the hell happened that night?
That night, not last night. Ugh.
Your guess is as good as mine. Someone set me up. That much is obvious.
To me, anyway. I know I'm lying my ass off here. There's a lot more to the story than he needs to know, but what I just told him is essentially how it is. Someone made me out to look like the bad guy. Maybe it wasn't even intentional. Maybe they just wanted the guys I was working with to die. Or maybe they wanted Xander dead. There are too many possibilities to consider. I need answers right now. I've been thinking about it. Who actually would be in charge of all this? Is it someone that we know? Is it someone that we've met? Or is it someone else that we have yet to even meet? Good questions. I can't even go home to see my fiance for fear that one of Xander's guys is waiting for me there. I'm 99.99% sure, in fact. That's how it's done.
Where are you calling from?
A payphone. That's all you need to know. Now, tell me what's going on.
All right. I was talking to Jamie the other day. Just talk? Nothing concrete to bring up to the others, you know?
Yeah?
And he says he swears he caught sight of the ringleader. And it's someone he's seen before.
What'd you miss now? Not much. Rachel did treat Birdie just fine, and now we're on Kevin's point of view to see where he is and what he's up to.
Would I know him?
If anyone would, it'd be you. It's some guy that Dean's been dealing with. Jamie said he thought his name was Tony or something.
Oh my goodness. Is Tony the one who was behind all that? Tony! That cocky little rich fuck from last week. It couldn't be.
Did he know the last name?
Didn't have one. Goes by something stupid like Tony the Tailor or Tony the Tank. Couldn't remember. That's all he knew.
I had never heard this full name, but I'm sure I'd have laughed about it if I ever did. Fucking rich prick poser. Fucks like that usually lose their lives just as quick as they enter the business. Child's play or not, real mafiosi don't have time to waste on petty little thugs like that, so they kill them. They're like insects. They just get in your way and piss you off, so you squash them. But this isn't just a minor annoyance. This is much more elaborate than I'd ever come to expect from someone like that. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Jesus!
You know who he's talking about?
I have an idea who it might be. I just don't know the how or the why. I'm still...
Wife just texted me from the other room. What the hell kind of games they got you playing? Mafia. Visual novel. This is the tamest chapter so far, actually. You should have heard. You should have heard what I said earlier. Anyway.
So what are you gonna do?
You getting me in trouble, huh? That's fun. I look around cautiously. There's still no one within listening distance.
I'm gonna go pay the guy a visit.
By yourself?
Are you offering to come with me?
I immediately regret saying that. I trust the guy a bit, but for all I know, he's got a gun to his head at this very moment. I know in the back of my mind that it doesn't really matter. He won't say yes. He can't. Xander's probably got all of his guys on a tight leash right now. Drunk and useless as he is, the circumstances Xander is facing right now call for desperate measures on all counts. He won't be taking chances with anyone. Blaine isn't going to take the risk and sneak away. Still, I shouldn't have said anything. This is the time for caution, and nothing more.
I would if it were possible, man. You know I would. Things are just fucking crazy right now.
Figured as much. But yeah, I'm going myself.
Pretty fucking ballsy. You know how to find him?
Yeah.
Christ. Good luck with that. And don't pull any guns a-blazing bullshit, alright? Don't know what this fucker's capable of.
True enough, it'd be easy to underestimate him again, but I need to be smart. I don't know what this guy's aim is, what kinds of connections or intel he has, or even a full name to begin with. Is his name Tony the Tiger? Let's just call him Tony the Tiger. The most terrifying name that you can come up with for a mob guy, Tony the Tiger.
They're great.
I apologize. If I go in assuming what my gut instincts are dictating, I'm being just as ignorant and arrogant as he is. That shit will get a person killed. I'm not about to let some two-timing lowlife get the best of me. He has no idea that he's come to play ball in the big leagues. He'll soon find out. Atir is a nickname that actually he used in Ace Attorney. Oh, really?
I'm ready for him.
I hang up without so much as a goodbye. Well, plus he'd have to pay an extra quarter. It isn't out of resentment or disrespect for him, but out of frustration over the situation. I'm the odd man out in all of this. I can't see anyone right now, least of all the people I do trust. Though that's a very short list to begin with. I feel a little better now that I have some semblance of an idea of what is going on. I have a mission in mind and a target. A place and a target. That's a whole hell of a lot more than I was going on before. It's been just over a week since we were blindsided, and throughout the whole time I've been wandering aimlessly, with no clue where to go or what to do next. This has been the most stressful week of my life. No, maybe that's not entirely true. It's been hell, though. I know Rachel is probably going out of her mind with worry, and Izzy's probably wondering where the hell I've been by now, too. What I would give to be able to reach out to them. I can't, though. Xander and his followers will be ready for me. I don't want to place the ones I love in jeopardy any more than I already have. It's interesting. Kevin brings up Izzy specifically And Ron brought up Izzy specifically as well. They're bringing up her, but not the other siblings. Even above the cousins. That is interesting. Is there something special about Izzy that sets her apart? I wonder. I wind my way through the busy crowds of people, thinking about what I have to do. That other girl's like 11. Well, yeah, but wouldn't that make more sense to worry about her too? Or even more so than Izzy? Maybe I'm overthinking it, I don't know. You doubt she is in danger? Well, I don't trust Xander with anyone. I wind my way through the busy crowds of people thinking about what I have to do. I know where I need to go, but I can't be sure exactly what I'm up against. This Tony motherfucker could have a lot of protection. I have none myself. I'm completely alone in this. There's no one I could ask to come on this trip with me. It makes me think back to the night we raided the mansion of my father's former partner/rival. There were 4 of us that night, though I didn't really do anything much. We had gone in to rescue Izzy, who'd been kidnapped for God knows whatever reason. I'm not entirely clear on all the details myself. Excuse me, freaking what? But this feels much the same, except I won't have backup this time, and I can't afford to act like a coward either. Do not like that music. Angst. Angst! I get to the bus station and wait as patiently as I can. My every nerve is on edge. This is happening right now. I can't wait another day to get to the bottom of this. I have my gun on me. There's no other preparation needed. It's time to go get that son of a bitch. I realize it's going to be difficult not to plant a number of bullets in him right away. Every fiber of my being is going to be pushing me to do so, but I can't until I get the answers I need from him. Why was I set up? And how did he infiltrate our plans? What was the purpose of this entire chaotic nightmare? I have to know. Over these last 11 years, I made a point of making it my business to know everything, absolutely everything going on in the Mafia underworld, from Chicago to Boston to New York to Atlantic City and all the rest. I know all the players involved. I know who's a target and who's a pawn, and I could spot a faker from a mile away. This Tony guy is just that. He's new to the scene, looking for kicks. He's a nobody. I need to show him just that. I'll prove to him that he isn't allowed to climb any ranks in my world. It's almost over. The nightmare will end soon, and I can get back to my life. The sun shines through the window of the bus right into my eyes. No matter how much I turn my head left or right, there's no escaping it. Then find a different seat, my man. God damn it. People pour inside one after another. It'll be pretty crowded by the time we leave the station. That's not him, is it? Wait, is that Tony? That was weird. Damn it, I need to calm down. I'm getting paranoid at every look a stranger gives me. That stupid open collar shirt. Like, the hair was different, but everything else looked very close. If I don't manage to somehow calm my nerves, I'm going to fuck this all up for myself. Kevin! Shit! My heart lodges in my throat. That was my name, and it was sure as shit directed at me. Armand. He was seen briefly in your last vid. Oh, Armand. Okay. I'm trying to remember where we saw him. Think, Kevin. Think. Calm yourself. That voice. It was only a little girl's voice. It's of no threat to you. And then I see her. It's Maya! Isn't she cute as a button?
Why are you on the bus? Don't you have a car?
Maya. It's only Maya. It's Marianne's BF. Yeah, okay, that's him, right, okay. We saw him in the tip for that chapter. Got it, okay. Thank you. Maya, it's only Maya. Christ, I got all bent out of shape over nothing more than my little sister. She seems to be the most innocent thing in the world. I have known Maya for 5 seconds, but if anything happened to her, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself. Pathetic. Just pathetic. My mind is working again, slowly but steadily. I'm gaining a bit of my composure. Such a simple question. It tells me she has no idea I've been hiding out this past week. And why would she have heard otherwise? No one wants to scare her. No one would have told Izzy either, unless Rachel did. No, she wouldn't have.
Hey, Maya. My car's in the shop, so I have to ride the bus for a few days. What about you?
Huh. Is she even old enough to be riding the train by herself? Christ, time flies. She's not such a little girl anymore. I feel like I'm missing out on her life, living away. It's a little disheartening, but it also makes me proud to see her doing things on her own. She's not quite my baby sister anymore.
I'm going to a friend's house. She's got this thing called Nintendo or something.
Hanging out with boys? Growing up even faster than I thought. Way to skip a bunch of steps, little lady. As if I wasn't close enough to having a heart attack as it is.
Is that one of those video game machines?
I had a 4-bit system a few years back. They were all the craze then, but after a few days of Pong and the like, I decided they just weren't entertaining enough to hold my attention. These new 8-bit machines were supposedly a lot better, though. I had seen a couple commercials and the graphics looked much nicer. If that's all they're doing, maybe I shouldn't be worried after all. When I was growing up, and they hated this, Nintendo was just another word for video game. Like, go play your Nintendo in your room, go to the store and buy a Nintendo. Like, I've known the word Nintendo since I was, like, before I could remember, so it's not a hard word for me. Nintendo hates when you do that, because it makes it a lot harder to retain trademarks on items. It's like how, especially in Europe, you get a vacuum cleaner, and another word for vacuum cleaner is Hoover. But Hoover is the name of the brand, not a name for generic vacuum cleaners. Or it's like, I'm trying to think of another example. It's like, I guess how Tide is, or here's one, Bubble Wrap. Bubble Wrap is the name of the brand. Bubble packaging is what it's actually called. And it's become so synonymous that you could, like, other rival companies can use the word bubble wrap in their packaging and get away with it because legally the general public doesn't know that that is the name of the brand. That's what Nintendo was trying so hard to avoid, is for every video game to be called a Nintendo. So there, like, you can look this up. There are actual ads that Nintendo put in newspapers where they did nothing more than beg people simply don't call every video game a Nintendo. It's kind of funny. So yeah, when I was growing up, Nintendo were just every game, but of course, that's because it pretty much was. And then eventually Genesis came out, and then we got the 5th generation, which gave us PlayStation and stuff, so eventually Nintendo became more of its own specific brand of video game. But for most of the 80s and the early 90s, it was, please, please, please don't call video games Nintendos. So it's kind of funny now to see, like, them talking about like it's a brand new thing, because it would have been at the time, and I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't have known how to pronounce it, especially if you weren't big into video games, so. No, I don't need to worry about Maya. It's Izzy that needs my help.
I don't know. Maybe. I think it has something to do with your TV. He was talking about controllers and stuff.
Yeah. It's like that 4-bit system we had a few years ago. Remember that?
Darn, I hated that stupid thing.
Haha, me too. But who knows? Maybe this one will be better. It was. Spoiler alert, it was. It really was. Now, not to say that every single game on the Nintendo was better than every single game on, let's say, the Atari, because Atari had plenty of good games, Nintendo had plenty of bad games, but it was better. Sopalin? That's a thing? I don't think I've ever heard of that. Atari had good games. Yeah, it sure did. A lot. It had plenty. I don't know if it had like 1,000 good games, but it certainly had 50. Let's see, some good Atari games that come to mind. Just off the top of my head. Missile Command. Atari Olympics. Boy, I'm drawing a blank. Not Montezuma's Revenge, although Montezuma's Revenge is pretty good. I was thinking of Yar's Revenge. Atari didn't even have 1,000 games total. I know. So it didn't have 1,000 good ones, but anyway.
I doubt it.
Let's continue. We talk for a little longer, but then she has to get off at the next station. I like talking with Maya. I sometimes tend to forget just how bright she is for her age. And I think just being with her calmed me down a bit. For the first time in a week, I was able to have a conversation with someone I can trust 100%. I needed that. My nerves are finally relaxed. When we finally reach the station, I begin my trek toward my enemy's estate. The beautiful weather has a calming effect on me as well. It almost makes me feel like this is going to be a piece of cake. Almost. Angsty music again. Sneaking my way onto the property, I suddenly have to stop and analyze my surroundings. Something about the atmosphere bugs me. Is it just my nerves starting up again? No. Something about this feels wrong. I don't know how it's even possible, but somehow I've already managed to make a mistake. There are eyes everywhere. I can feel them. And then I see their owners. One by one, they come out of their hiding places to confront me. My panic doesn't even have time to set in. All I can feel now is utter defeat. Their guns are pointed at me, mocking me. I don't understand it all. Have they been hiding in wait for me all this time? Day after day? Minute by minute? No, somewhere along the line I fucked up. They knew I was coming, but how? None of it makes any sense. But at this moment, it doesn't even matter anymore. I've lost. Maybe I did end up underestimating him after all. I just can't understand how. Speak of the devil. Mocking me even more, he walks out unarmed. The son of a bitch knows he's got me. I could see it in his crooked smile. I was wondering if you were ever gonna show up.
Who the fuck are you?
Well, that's no way to talk to your captor. How's about we start with begging for your life? I spit at the ground in front of me. Hawk toi. Fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. No? Shame. I would have liked to see that.
Answer my fucking question.
No, I don't think so. Had I been cornered, maybe you'd get something out of me, but right now the tables are turned the other way. However, seeing as how you're in your last few moments of life, perhaps I can indulge your curiosity just a little. After all, I'm sure you're just dying to know how I found out about your little transactional meeting last week. You see, Mr. Gallo, it seems you and I share a bunch of contacts. Of course, my circles run a lot wider than yours.
And to illustrate that fact, I decided it fit to erase one of them completely. Troy McClure.
Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You might remember me from such visual novels as I just walked right into a trap with both eyes wide open, and my arm just got shot and I'm bleeding to death. It's the funniest thing in the world.
I guess that is his voice, isn't it? It was not intentional. I just threw a voice on him. That was what I went with, and I'm stuck with it. It's mortifying hearing him speak like that, but how can it be true? It can't. It just can't. I'm smarter, more powerful, and better connected than you could ever hope to be. Not to mention a hell of a lot better looking. I've been tracking you and your dear old uncle for quite some time now. I had you set up from the very get-go. I'm sure you figured me for a rich wannabe playing the Mafia boss game for kicks, am I right? All a part of the plan. I couldn't risk you or Dean catching on to the plan. This isn't even my crib. I'm just borrowing it to maintain appearances for you.
Why go to all the trouble just to ink me out?
That I have to know. Why was I so special to this guy? Why go to all the trouble of covering your every track just to get to me? To kill you, of course. You and that despicable uncle of yours. He's the one I really wanted dead, but you're the sly one of the bunch. I couldn't take the risk that you'd figure out who was behind his murder. Thus, the theatrical nature of my fooling you. Hey, what a coincidence. Kevin wants him dead too, so how about we team up, let bygones be bygones, let Xander, take care of Xander, and everyone wins. I take it it's not that simple in the Mafia, but that would be a very simple solution. Unfortunately, Xander got away. That was a drastic miscalculation on my part.
You fucking idiot! I set up that meeting to have Xander killed. If you hadn't barged in, fucking the whole thing up, he would be dead right now.
I yell it at him as loud as I can. He needs to know how he fucked up. The whole thing could have been avoided if he would have just stayed out of it. Xander would be dead. Why would you be trying to have Xander killed?
Are you fucking kidding me? The man is the very reason my father died. He ran our family business into the ground. He's nothing but a lowlife, drunken piece of shit who uses and abuses his kin. And he fucked up my life and the lives of my cousins and sisters.
Your father was just as bad, if not worse, than Xander ever was.
You take that back.
I reach for my sidearm, but am reminded of my situation when his henchmen raised their pointed guns to eye level. I'd be dead before it left its holster. Maybe there's some truth to your story. It's no real matter to me. Although, it is very interesting. It seems your family drama never ends. I'll level it with you, Kevin. Can I call you Kevin? Sure, I can. I mean, I know so much about you and your family. The psychotic cousins, the ones who couldn't give a goddamn, the sisters you abandoned to the uncle you apparently hate so much. But you surprised me today with that little tidbit of information. To think you actually had the gall to try and have your uncle murdered. You may actually have gotten away with it too. Sorry about that, truly. I'm almost blind in my rage. He mocks and laughs and taunts, and there's nothing I could do. Nothing I could do but stand here and take it and hear every word he has to say, because there's no way of blocking it out of my mind. So I'm going to do something to make it up to you. I'm going to offer you a deal. I want nothing more than to yell out "fuck you" and blindside him with a bullet to the brain, but my body won't react that way. Call it self-preservation or whatever, but my body just won't move.
nor can I find my voice. I'm going to offer you your life, Kevin. I'm going to let you walk away from here alive. I'm ashamed to admit to myself that I'm relieved to hear those words. He's going to allow me to live? He's in control of my life? God damn it. It's the final insult. Maybe I'd be better off if he'd just kill me instead. But I want to live. There's no denying that truth. Of course, it comes with a price. You'll leave town. Just you, not your family, alone. You will have no further contact with any of them. As far as they will know, Kevin Gallo is dead. In fact, as far as anyone is concerned, you're dead. That would suck. You do that, and you have my word. I'll take care of your meddlesome uncle for you. You can go and start your new life in the Bahamas or whatever, and know that Xander is dead, Izzy and Maya are living happily together under no one else's rule, and Rachel won't be forced to worry every time her husband disappears for a night. Is he out of his fucking mind? There's no way I'd ever follow through on that. He can't honestly expect that he's appealing to my good nature, can he? Who the hell would? It doesn't matter, though. I don't have any other choice right now if I want to walk away with my life. I have to agree. It's humiliating. I can't imagine anything worse. However, if you don't adhere to your side of the bargain, I will do worse than find you and kill you, Kevin. I'll kill Rachel. I'll kill Izzy. I'll kill Maya. I'll even kill all of your cousins too, for fun. And I'll do it all in front of you. Then I'll kill you. The rage in my veins has reached its boiling point. There are tears bubbling in the corners of my eyes, and my breathing is louder than his voice. I want to tear his fucking throat out, that son of a bitch! If he dares touch one hair on any of them, I will find his family and do the same to them. I could see by the look on your face that you completely understand the terms of our arrangement. So, what do you say? Agreed. It's barely a whisper. My voice is hoarse and dry. The humiliation somehow only gets worse by the second. But he is relentless. What was that? I can't hear you, Kevo. Was that a yes? Yes. I spit the word out, shuddering to my very core. It takes everything I can muster to get it out of me. It's like my body somehow produced something that is completely unnatural. A complete contradiction to my being. And yet I had said it. We have a deal then. Now I have other more pressing business to attend to. Get the hell out of my town. If I ever see you again, you know what will happen. He leaves and his men follow. Their guns are still aimed at me as they go. I'm left alone, helpless as ever. My mission, once again, has been a bust, and everything is as fucked up as can be. Only a week ago, I had solid plans laid out for my future. Plans that would take me places and solve any problems for me and my family members. Delusions of grandeur, it would seem. Now everything is ruined, and I'm faced with the simple realization that I was never a real mafioso to begin with. I'm just some sad chump with a chip on his shoulder and a bunch of contacts that never meant shit to anyone. I'm exactly as I first saw Tony, a wannabe, and I may as well be dead. That's a good question, Dim. It's easy to forget that only moments ago I was willing to sell my soul away for the chance to breathe another day, and now I'm faced with the simple truth of it all. I've been beaten. Beaten by the likes of him. And I know, ashamedly, he is the better of us. I don't even know how I'm going to get my family back now. What if that isn't a possibility anymore? What if it never was? I've lost everything. Watch these tips real quick. The chief burst into the room, mad as all hell, and slammed it behind him. Before him sat the lowly young undercover officer, holding an untouched cup of coffee in both hands.
I hope to Christ you got some news for me.
Well, not so much.
Your Mark hasn't said anything at all.
I didn't want to be too pushy. Having the Mark become suspicious is the absolute last thing I need on my plate.
Well, I'll tell you what the last thing I needed on my plate was. Dean Gallo dead 3 days ago, and the undercover cop I assigned to investigate him and his family showing up empty-handed after all this time.
The chief slammed the cup of coffee out of the young officer's hands. It smashed against the wall and shattered on the ground loudly.
I'm trying.
And failing! How long have you been following this Mark? I've been in this line of work for a long time, kiddo, and when I say I have an officer's intuition, it fucking means something.
I'll try harder.
You should have been trying that hard in the first place. That was probably our biggest lead in... What was probably our biggest lead is fucking dead now. We don't have a clue who the fuck was behind it or why. I want to know what went down that night. I want to know who else was there and where in the fucking hell Kevin Gallo is.
Kevin?
Goddamn disappeared after that night. No one has seen him since, not even his girlfriend. Or so she'd have us believe.
I haven't heard anything about that either, sir. I've been starting to doubt that my Mark knows anything at all. Maybe they really have cut ties with the mafia world.
I don't believe that for a fucking second. You're not pushing hard enough. You're afraid now that you're in? Any little thing you do is a risk of compromising your identity. You need to stop doubting yourself, or you're not going to make it in the undercover business. I want you to find and track Kevin Gallo. Stay out of sight, but just watch him.
I don't know how I'm supposed to do that when I have no connections to his family.
That's because you're not using your head. He's either dead or in hiding, and my guess is the latter. If he is alive, he's gonna still be around. No way he ditched that stone-cold fox of a fiancé, and I'm pretty goddamn sure he wouldn't abandon his sisters either.
Is Armand... Oh... Excuse me. Is Armand the undercover cop?
He's getting around somehow, and not by using his own car.
The young officer nodded, finally understanding what he was getting at. So sorry. Seeing this, the chief took a couple deep breaths to try and calm down. It seemed his words were finally starting to sink in.
I can't bring this to anyone else. If someone finds out about it, they'll have it shut down faster than you can blink.
Why is this case so important to you?
Because we have the chance to rid this city of its crime ring for good. It hasn't been like that since before I was even born. And a big part of that is that fucking Gallo family. They've been central to the whole thing since the old dead fuck landed in this country all those years ago.
You really think that by eliminating the Gallows from the equation, the crime rings are just going to dissolve? Chief, we don't even know how deep in they actually are.
But we know they're still a part of it. The murder of Dean Gallo proves that. That I was right all along about them. My gut tells me they're in deep. All of them. Can you do this?
Yeah. I'll find and tell Kevin Gallo by any means necessary.
And your Mark. See about the brother. That's the key to getting the information we really need.
That's going to be the most difficult part. The family situation is more than a little complicated.
I don't give a shit. He starts talking and the rest is cake. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Clean up that coffee cup before you leave. Oh, we're back to Izzy. Bummer. This is where we have to call it for today. Oh, my lord. Oh, that is not an easy voice. Okay, now we return, and then we can go to the menu. There we go. I'm sorry. We're good. I'm very curious to know what happens next to Izzy. We haven't seen her since the very first chapter. If you're not going to finish this on stream, you will regret it. Well, I mean, I fully plan on coming back and continuing this game in the future. It's probably not going to be the near future because it turns out EAS has a lot of games to release by the end of the month. And then plenty more for me to get caught up on when I get back from Asia next month. So, but I'll most likely come back to this after Zhanyan Sword. Speaking of, I'll be back on Sunday to continue Zhanyan Sword. But yeah, this is absolutely the kind of game right up my alley to play on Sundays. So keep a lookout on our Twitter account. I refuse to call it the other name. For information on when I'll be returning to Crime Opera 2: The Floodgate Effect. Thank you to S-Bester for being here, as always. Really appreciate it. S-Bester, if you are interested in, like, knowing when the next time is that I go live with this, maybe we could get in contact over email, or if you have Discord, that, and I'll let you know the next time I play it, because it's really nice having the developers of games in here whenever I play their games. I strongly apologize for the voice I gave Kevin. But yeah, Dim, you're here every time anyway, so whenever I return to this, you'll know. Thank you to Dimlord, S-Bester, and Andrea for being here. Shout out to the lurkers, and shout out to everyone watching on YouTube after. Crime Opera 2, The Floodgate Effect, out now on all consoles. Go get it. It's really something, I gotta say. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next whenever I play it next. Alright, yeah, S-Bester, I'll reach out. I'll be back on Sunday, where I'll be continuing my playthrough of Zhanyan Sword: The Gate of Firmament. See you all then. On behalf of East Asia Soft, I have been Skull. Have yourselves a great day and a great weekend, and I will see you all next time. I need to drink a lot more water to fix my throat now. Bye-bye.